Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. If you're shopping for a minivan, you already know about the Dodge and Chrysler minivan platforms. Just how good they are and the fact that they invented this segment and never stopped making them better. This 2010 is the second year of the final generation of the Grand Caravan. This one has 139,000 miles on it. It's been pretty well maintained, and it's a lifetime Tucson car. In fact, it is 3 owners, but 2 families having ownership transferred from a father to a daughter. So this one is called the Hero Trim. It's an SE Plus, which means you get all the power goodies. Open up the back hatch and open both doors. And even with the doors shut and locked, you can engage the automatic start. Silver exterior, light gray cloth interior. Keeps it cool here in the summer. And because it is a Grand Caravan, cavernous interior. This has got Chrysler Stow and Go seating, so every one of these folds completely flat into the floor, which I'll show you later. So if you need to haul 7 people around, you can. If you need to be a cargo van, you can do that too. And if you run out of room inside for people or stuff, that roof rack can hold about 400 pounds on it. And if you get a hitch, this will tow right around 3,300 to 3,500 pounds comfortably. 3.8 liter V6 in this one, 6-speed automatic transmission, good for an EPA estimated 16 city, 23 highway. You'll probably be seeing about 20 miles per gallon combined, up to almost 25 if you're doing long highway stretches. So let's get in this thing. We'll put the seats up, put the seats down, open the doors, close the doors, and go out for a rip. Here under the engine bay of the Grand Caravan, you'll see that 3.8 liter V6 right smack in the middle of a pretty cavernous engine bay. Now these are designed to fit not only this motor, but the bigger 4-liter and the even larger dual overhead cam 3.6 Pentastar that came later. So you've got a ton of room around this motor, making it easy to work on and easy to find stuff. Speaking of finding stuff, this is your air filter here, power steering reservoir there, windshield washer fluid reservoir there, serpentine belt, alternator, all that good stuff. Oil filters right down there, fresh STP oil filters since we just did the change. Oil dipstick is here, add your oil there. That's your ignition coils right there. Brake fluid reservoir, interstate battery up here, fuse box there, and your coolant overflow and coolant expansion tank reservoir right there. So yeah, a lot of room up front on this thing. Cargo compartment on the Grand Caravan. So the Stow and Go seats are very, very easy to use. I'll show you that in just a second. Super deep cargo bay, lots of places to hang stuff. Behind there, hear that whirring? That's that second AC unit in the back, the second blower motor, screaming away trying to keep this thing cool. Now, pull tab 1, seat folds down. Pull tab 2 to release the front catch, and then come up here and grab tab 3. Seats fall, boom, right down into the floor. To stand them back up, it is the opposite. Just grab this loop, throw them up. Now this one is still locked, so you pull 1 again to release, and then boom, seat pops right back. Also, once the seats are up, hit that little button there, and it comes automatically down. Into the middle row seats of the van, let that door come open, and I'm gonna show you those Stow and Goes one more time up here. So you pull this tab, floor folds once, folds twice, and comes up. Pull this lever here, seat folds down, and make sure you push in this tab to fully retract the headrest. Behind the seat here, there's another tab. Pull that to release the seat frame catch, and then it tumbles down into the floor. Fold that up one last time, and boom. Now, you've got all the room in the world. Not that room is in any way in short supply here in the van, but I'll use this as a great excuse to show you what I mean. So this seat is all the way back and reclined. I'm gonna slide over, Excuse the big dumb sun hat. It's very bright today. But if you look, lots of room, plenty of knee room, even with the hat, a lot of headroom. Like, you're not worried for space even in the third row here. I'm going to spin this around again, show you. Third row passengers get 2 storage cubbies and a cup holder on the driver's side, and 1 storage cubby and 2 cup holders here on the passenger. Also, all of the rear passengers get their own adjustable steering vents. Second row passengers, however, get to control them if the driver doesn't lock out the rear controls. Now, again, to show worst case scenario, I'm gonna move this seat up. Passenger seat is all the way back. So, bear with me. I'm sunk in. Seat's all the way forward. Time. Get a load of that. Middle row seat all the way forward. Passenger seat all the way back. I can lean back. Got a bunch of headroom. Got my own vent up there. And even, one more time, here on the doors, big door windows, powered, cup holders tucked down on both corners, power door button is there, and if the driver so deems it, that switch right there is pretty cool. That is your venting rear windows. Push that down, and the very back windows pop open to vent any smells or other unpleasantness out of the van. Great way to get fresh air in here. Speaking of which, up there, the last of the controls, doors, hatches, and the lockout to keep them from opening if you don't want them to. To put up those Stow and Go second rows, pull the tab again, flip, flip. That lifts up, and see that gray part right here? Get your big paws around that. Give it a pull, down it goes. That flips back up, and then just flip, flip. Right back to passenger configuration. Driver's seat of the van here. I showed you this vent toggle before. I just think this is one of the coolest features on these vans. Really pulls stale air out, especially once you just get in here in the desert heat. Door cards, pretty plain Jane, but a lot of storage. All your controls are up here. One other cool thing I wanted to point out, previous owner got all their tires done at Costco, and these Michelin Cross Tours are really, really good tires. So nice to see some heavy duty, heavyweight tires on a vehicle like this. Now, climbing into the van, you sit up nice and high in these bolstered seats. Got armrests, driver and passenger here, and nice, simple gauge cluster in front of you. As I said, windows, locks, windows, mirrors, all right here. This is your headlight control, that's your dimmer. Moving on, your typical Dodge 3-gauge bezel, fuel and temperature on the left with a little screen that you can adjust. So it'll show, like right now, I reset it so it's showing elapsed time since I started the timer. Curious to see how long my filming would take today. But it'll give you direction and temperature, as well as your average MPG. Now, this has been idling for like an hour and a half, so I've tanked the MPG, but is what it is when it's 105. You need that AC. And approximate distance to empty. Pretty neat little gauge cluster there. Center is just your speedo with some idiot lights and warning lights on it. And then over here, on the right-hand side, tachometer and your Prindle. So, little mode here for eco, shows if you're driving economically, and it'll optimize your fuel economy. So say eco on if you're driving the light foot. There is your odometer, 138,785. Trip A, trip B. Simple gauge cluster. Here on the wheel, you just have a horn, and this is your cruise control controls. On and off, set, resume, cancel. Simple as it gets. Keys go here. This is your Prindle. You just have park, reverse, neutral, and drive. It has the plus and minus here, but this van was never equipped with the slapstick or the the select gear trans. You just let it do all the thinking for you. You're probably busy carrying around stuff or hauling kids anyway. Over here, this is your standard Chrysler infotainment or well, infotainment. You can tell I've been in modern cars a lot lately. Your radio. CD-ROM, AM, FM, satellite with aux in. It has the buttons for Bluetooth, but for shame, if I turn the radio on, somebody, when they bought this, did not get the Uconnect phone option. So no Bluetooth, but you can auxiliary in or get an FM transmitter or a Bluetooth to auxiliary adapter, and then boom, you could use the radio just like anything else. Vents here, hazard light, traction control, and here's your climate control. I love that these are still analog because there's less to go wrong with them. Bottom out your temperatures, driver and passenger here. Fan speed is there, so you know how hot you want it, how hard you want it, and where you want it. And down below, these are the rear controls. If I want to be nice, I can turn it to RR, which allows the rear passengers to control their own temperature, or I can lock it out to full fan, full cold, and then adjust my own dials up here. So I make the rear AC do the bulk of the cooling work. This thing has a bunch of little cubbies in it. You got one up here, 2 cup holders there holding my lavalier microphones, and down below you've got 2 12-volt power outlets, one of them being key-on power, one of them being full-time draw off the battery, and very nice that Dodge actually marked which is which. You got a big storage cubby down there. On the passenger side, you've got yourself 2 whole glove boxes, detailing rags in this one, like coin slots and stuff over here, and down below, the original manuals, which buried in there is actually the original window sticker for when those sold at Tucson Dodge, which is kind of cool to see. Other than that, down there is the plug that comes out so you can drop your spare tire from under the vehicle. My Nalgene bottle, which does in fact just, with some pushing, fit in there, and that will hold it tight. But yeah, it's a simple place to be up here. You've got to worry about moving people and stuff around. You don't want too much extraneous stuff. The AC is cold, the cruise control works, and the seats are comfy. Dropping down off of the top of the parking garage here. Got every window open in this van, even the vents. So as we get down below, we'll hear any noises this thing's gonna make. Echo, you know, suspension noise, engine noise, tire noise, my Nalgene bottle slamming into my ankle noise, the usual stuff. But yeah, this van, for being 139,000 miles, again, really mechanically well dialed in. No real suspension clunks or bangs or anything like that. Even here, little throttle, little braking, no crunching, no grinding, no clunking. It's a really, really composed rectangle. And, you know, this one, all analog up here, so if you want to park it, you've either got to use your mirrors and your eyeballs, or be comfortable backing by braille. I, however, do not recommend that technique, as backing up until something sounds expensive is not a good way to extend the longevity of your vehicle. But yeah, parking lot stuff done. Let's get out on the road and get some speed in this thing. Getting up on the highway, we'll let that 3.8 liter V6 do its thing. Third, fourth, yeah, it clips through the gears nicely even under full load. And just like that, we're at highway cruising speeds. So, yeah, these minivans, notoriously good road tripping vehicles. And, yeah, even, you know, 16 years later, this is still a really, really comfortable and composed driving experience. I could easily crush 1,000 miles a day sitting here in this seat. So let's see if we can't get over a lane or two more, get some more miles per hour into us, and I'll set the cruise for you all. Cruise on. Cruise is set at 70 because I think it's about all we're gonna get. However, a cool thing to note, at 70 miles an hour, that overdrive trans knocks us down to right around 2,000, which is pretty close to the sweet spot for this 3.8. It really likes to be between 18 and 2,500 RPM. And it even lets us know that, oh, hey, we are operating in an economical manner with the cruise set on the highway. So, you know, nice for the van to tell us that. Also, limited gauge information here, but you're good to go there, tour bus. Never a dull moment here on Interstate 10. Anyway, as we're rolling, you'll see that average economy number displayed down there will eventually start to creep up as we put more highway miles on this, and to, you know, undo the 2 hours of idling while I was shooting media, photos, and video before we started driving. We're out here on the highway really quick. I was listening to the radio and I remembered this is one of the first years that Chrysler introduced the steering wheel buttons behind the wheel. So on the left and right hand side, you can manually adjust what station you're listening to on the left and your volume on the right here behind the wheel. So you never have to take your hands off the wheel to dial in your radio. Staged up at the end of one of my favorite nearly abandoned streets, we're going to do a quick 0 to 40 to 0. Now, minivans are not performance vehicles by any measure, but when you can hold, you know, 1,200 pounds of stuff, 7 passengers, or any combination thereof, these things do need to be able to get out of their own way. And when the time comes to slow it down, they got to be able to do that well too. So full acceleration and full braking is going to test the ABS system, the engine, the trans, and make sure that none of them do anything weird under full accelerative or decelerative load. Traction control is off. We'll see if we can get a tire to spin. 3, 2, 1. Okay, nice. There's 30, and there's 40. Perfect. Hear that ABS working each wheel individually to slow this thing down straight and true. Coming through more urban areas here, give you an idea, you know, 40, 45 mile an hour commuting over broken up pavement. Pretty normal stuff, but you've heard the worst case scenario for interior noise, for wind and tire noise out on the interstate. But, you know, this has got pretty plush seats, pretty beefed up suspension being a minivan. Let's see how well that suspension holds up to some abuse here on a series of pretty gnarly roads. So, this little alleyway, really broken up pavement, manhole cover there. Oh, speed bump. Another little speed bump. Another little speed bump. Couple of craters. Not even going to bother missing those. Big one there. These things are great. They're really, really stout vehicles. Nice squishy suspension that can soak up bumps. Plus, with those Costco Michelin tires on this thing, they're really, really good rubber. Someone spent money on the tires on this, and it makes it so much more pleasant, even in places like this with really broken up pavement, where, you know, other than my talking, going over that rough stuff and a little bit of suspension chatter is about the worst noise you're gonna get in this thing. The only way it could get crashier in here is if you put all of the seats down and went into full, like, box truck mode. But yeah, very comfortable, very competent commuters, round town, road tripping. I mean, there's a reason these things were the ubiquitous family haulers for like 30 years. Look at our lot wrapping everything up on the 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. Now, back in the 80s, Dodge and Chrysler invented the minivan segment, and this is the very last of those vans. There's a reason why for more than 30 years, these were the default if you needed to move a bunch of people and a bunch of stuff. So whether you've got a new family or a big family, a small business where you need box truck size space with fuel efficiency, or, and here's the real secret, if you're a college kid about to go off to school, snag yourself a minivan. No one ever expects a minivan, so they're super incognito. You can pack 7 of your idiot friends in this. Go on an adventure, go on a road trip. Put the seats down and move your dorm so you don't have to rent a U-Haul. Or, you know, put the seats down and throw a mattress in the back so you don't wake up your dorm mates. Whatever you want to do. This can totally do it. Insurance is cheap. They made 1 million of them, literally, so parts are cheap. And they're as fuel efficient as a vehicle this size will ever be. To see what I'm on about and experience this for yourself, follow the links in the description below, or call or text the number on screen to make an appointment to see this thing in person. Until then, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.